Welcome to Empowered Mind, Body, Soul. I'm your host, Olivia Page with Ascension Healing Sounds, and today we are joined by special guest Victoria Chisholm. She is the intuitive listener. She's also an elemental healer and mentor. And in today's episode, we will be talking about how working with the dragons can help you with mental health.
Empowered Mind, Body, Soul. A podcast journey to your truth with heartfelt stories, sound healing, and life hacks.
Hi, Victoria. Thank you for being here.
Thank you so much for having me here, Olivia.
Yeah, I'm so excited that you're here. So, you work with dragons and elementals. How did it come about that you were working with dragons?
Honestly, dragons came into my life in a very subtle way about 12 years old because already my gifts, my abilities woke up when I was 7 years old. And I was able by the age of 12 actually, to differentiate different energies. So from spirit, ancestral, angelic. And there was always this other energy in the background. It was strong, it was nurturing, it was very light, it was very nourishing. And I couldn't put a name to it for years. But I was constantly doing research, constantly looking for the answer to what this energy was. I just knew it was a very good energy. Instinctively, I knew that this was safe to work with, deal with. And this turned out to be dragon energy. And the dragons were always subtly in the background of my life. Their presence there, encouraging, supporting, telling you to dive deeper into your abilities, things like that. But as I grew, with the world we live in, a lot of people have self-worth, self-confidence issues that turn into anxiety, depression, panic attacks, and much, much more. A hot topic for a lot of people, and they see it in their families and they see it in their own lives in a lot of cases. So for me, the dragons have this reputation at times with just being elementals. They just get labeled into fire, earth, water, air. And yet we have so many multi-dimensional dragons that want to help us with these issues.
Yeah. Yeah, I love dragon energy. I work with the dragons too and have a few dragons on my spirit team. I never thought of working with them specifically for mental health. I do have them come in and to clear like spaces and things like that. So, what led you to figure out that mental health was something that they could really help with?
Because it was coming in, one of the main things I do with my clients is to release trauma, is to release emotional blocks, limiting beliefs, and trauma. And the more you dive into this, the more mental health issues come up, the heavy depressional episodes in someone's life. And watching, that's the way I'm going to put it, watching how the dragons show up for these people, noticing who has the unique skill set to help in this area. There's 8 dragons that appear to mind right away when we talk about mental health. One, if you are able to catch yourself in that moment, you're not doing okay compared to the moments that it creeps up on you, if that makes sense. The dragons, if an energy is creeping up on you and you're not aware of it, working with Archangel Gabriel's dragons, who is all about purification. Like you said, you call in the dragons to clear people's spaces, their homes, to uplift an energy. But this is working on the cellular level inside their bodies. So even if it's like when people learn Reiki, you learn to channel the white light to purify and protect someone's body, their energetic field. As you're working with them, you do it as you connect into them and disconnect from them. But with this dragon, again, is a bringer of joy, this energy. So instantly, people, even in the darkest times, are going to feel uplifted by working with this dragon to call in. And that's someone that you just need to remember it's a white dragon. It's connected to an Archangel Gabriel. And the rest naturally follows. If you can remember those 2 points, you're on your way. One of the other dragons that also is very good at calming people down that they're someone that is very sensitive to other people's. So this is a dragon I recommend for empaths, in particular, who are constantly picking up on other people's emotion and don't want to clear their energy all the time, but needs to have that balance, basically. So calling in Black Dragon in this case is wonderful because this dragon calms you down the second it enters your energy field. It's peaceful, it's nourishing, it puts you in this like almost protection bubble is the way I want to describe when this dragon comes in. And people have found this, especially if they've got travel anxiety, work related anxiety, fears of public speaking. This dragon is good at nourishing you through those quick changes, and you feel like you don't have a sure footing underneath you. Now, if your anxiety comes in moments of anger, in moments that you're so frustrated, you can feel like you're being completely ignored, and you're starting just to get to, no one's here to support me. You're almost going down that pity party route. Okay? Then calling in Fire Dragon to help in that moment, who will burn away the obstacles, but will also burn away the negative emotions that are just going to make you spiral down further. Does that make sense? So this
Yeah, it like my first thought though with the fire dragon was to call in a fire dragon for anger to me felt little counterintuitive. Isn't that more fire gonna stir up that anger more? But I do understand that it's a clearing energy. Their fire isn't like the way we think of
No,
fire.
and
It's
protection energy as well. The fire dragon's main mission is to keep you safe and protected. So not only is it clearing physical obstacles, emotional obstacles, energetic obstacles away from your energy field, help you snap out of these deep, angry, raging episodes, whether you're raging at yourself or the world at large. This dragon burns it away from you, and you instantly feel like, why did I get so upset? You have that moment of clarity. And that's what a lot of these dragons can bring back to us, is that moment of clarity. Whether it's deep breaths, I can calm myself, I can self-soothe, I can get through this. Even if that's a case of I can walk through that door and walk into a taxi. If that's a case of I can walk out into that stage and to give the speech. It's different for each person in each moment. But all of these dragons can really help you through these tough, hard, cutting edge moments. If we looked at Earth Dragon now, Earth Dragon is one of these dragons that you probably thought I should have started with because it's grounding. Earth Dragon is going to remove the stagnant energy. It's a very grounding energy. But while he can remove stuck energy, he can't do much for you if you're holding on to the rage, the frustration. That's when Fire Dragon needs to come in. Air Dragon is if you're suppressing your own needs. You're not being, I don't want to say truthful, but you're not communicating your needs fully. You're not willing to stand up for yourself. You are allowing other people to tell you what you need instead of saying, no, this is what I need. And that can often feed into this loop of panic, anxiety. No one's listening to me. Why would someone listen to me? Those are the thoughts that would often go through our heads in those moments. So when working with Air Dragon, all of a sudden you are able to see things from the bigger picture, and you're able to see why you need your voice. You're able to see it. Whether you are able to act upon it in that moment, though, is a completely different thing. So again, that's when working with pulling in Archangel Gabriel's dragon, who will purify the situation, purify your energy, and give you that confidence boost, along with another dragon, who's a red, black, and gold dragon. And this dragon is about protecting you in times of quick change. So you're in an emergency situation, you're trying to look out for yourself and others. This dragon is all about rapid change and helping you move with the quickness of the pace of the situation, while keeping you clear-headed and calm. Now, that is a feat for someone in themselves if they've got anxiety, or had a history of panic attacks. That is really difficult to do. But this is a dragon that will help you through those moments in time. And then you also have one of my personal favorite healing dragons for all-round healing stuff, basically, emerald green dragons. Emerald green dragons bring in this mother, caring, nurturing, full-on energy. Whether you have a cut, whether you are having a bad day, whether you are recovering from an operation, this is my go-to healer, because there's a lot of healing dragons out there. But the second I pull this one in for my clients, oh, I know who's just walked into the room. I know this is my friend. I know this is my comfort. I know that I'm going to get better. Because sometimes if we are recovering from a major operation or something, we lose faith in ourselves. We lose faith. Is this going to get better? Or is this going to be a continual struggle? And again, that's when depression can creep in. So working with the black dragon, the emerald green dragon, and another dragon, which is from the Pleiades, that restores your faith within yourself. That gives you that confidence. And when you have these free dragons working for you, and you're also calling in earth dragons, fire dragons, you quickly rally yourself. You quickly know that you are supported, whether it's by unforeseen forces of your dragon team that everyone has, or your family members in front of you. You can get through it because you have the confidence to get through it. Everyone has those dips. And these guys are going to push you back up time and time again if you're having a hard day.
Okay. All right. So we've talked a lot about different dragons. Let's back up and talk about, where do dragons exist?
Dragons exist in the realms of meditation, in the realms of dreams, in the realms of astral. But dragons have been, we can find dragons in Babylon, we can find dragons in Avalon, Atlantis, Lemuria, all of these mystical dimensional cities that we've heard of, past utopias and things. Depending on what texts you read growing up, then you will find them in all of these places. But you can also find them in the timelines in the universe. My own modality is Dragons of the Universe. I can pull the dragons in from any timeline, any place, to work on a specific issue for my clients, just running through different things. But often the dragons, for issues with mental health, you're going to see it not just in the childhood trauma, not just in the inner child trauma. You're going to see it in people that have gone through patterns of negative relationships. They've had to deal with multiple narcissists in their lives. This is the people that the dragons always have that special eye on, as I say, because it's naturally built into dragons' mindsets to be protectors. They want to be the encourager, they want to protect, they want to nurture, but they have this very strict code of looking after our own. But they will not take it that if you have a toxic family around you, they will not allow that to stay. They will move you on to a chosen family, your chosen family of friends that you create throughout your life. They will make sure you get a real, conscionable support system behind you, and that you're not just staying stuck in negative energy and surroundings, I should say.
So I see the dragons like, also, they're multidimensional beings. So they're
Yeah.
existing in the higher dimensions within the earth realm. I
Yeah.
also have been told by like my partner guide, who's a dragon, that they exist. There's a whole planet like that's like this dragon planet, but it also has people, I don't know, humanoid like beings
And
who
then
are
dragon.
there.
Yeah.
They're working, they work together. Yeah, that's how I see them,
Yeah.
as in addition to existing in those other
Well,
timelines and those
mhm.
other places that you mentioned, like Avalon and Babylon and things
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah, we know that our ley lines, our crystal grids, were originally called dragon lines, and the dragons actually created them, infused them to help Mother Gaia nurture the planet, create the planet, look after the oceans, all that. We have dragons that will protect the sea, and they are beyond the water sea dragons. We have dragons that look after Pacific creatures. And like you said, we have dragons that look almost human. And to me, that is the realm of the dragon fae, because they are literally such a beautiful hybrid species. And again, very great at working with emotionally delicate issues. I wouldn't say completely for mental health, because they will go down a different route. While the dragons support you, nourish you, and rebuild you, the dragon fae will make you face your fears. And that is a very delicate tightrope for someone that is still going through the thick of it and is maybe not ready to address the core issue about why they keep falling back into a negative. But the dragon fae will appear almost human-like in some cases and very dragon-like in others, because their whole species is made up of fae, dragons, angels, mermaids, human, goddess energy. It's just such a range of beings. When I work with the dragons, I also work with the dragon fae, and they all elementals, and I think we spoke about this before, all elementals have galactic roots. It's not just, they're not just stuck to this planet. You would have Draco races and other things like that on the starseed side of things or the galactic side of things, to me, which they are very two different paths. So you get them for all systems. The dragons work with the solar system. I also work with the Pegasus, but the main difference for me is the Pegasus work with the star systems as well. So they each connect into different energies.
I see. When you're doing a healing session for somebody, you're not just calling in one
No,
dragon, you're going to call in probably several dragons, and they each have their own kind of thing that they're
it
helping
depends
with
on
that
what
session or
way
for that
I'm
person.
doing it. If I'm doing like a dragon fire breath session, I will often have dragons that I will go in with saying, okay, I know I want to work with emerald green to keep the mood of the room very calm, very nurturing, very nourishing. I'm going to work with black dragon to relax them and release any fears. And then there's usually other dragons that's unique to that person's team that they're just going to drop in. So a single session like that, I could be working between 7 to 12 dragons. But if I'm using my own modality of dragons of the universe, I can be working up with about 1,000 dragons of energy, if not more, for one particular session. That is a 60-minute session around an issue that is multiple layered. It's not just one level we're going in it. It's as deep as you can possibly make it, is the way I would like to say that. When I speak about people having their own dragon teams, it's not just 1, 2, 3 guys showing up. Everyone has a dragon team, which is existing between 6 to 28 dragons on average for each individual person. It's not just that one personal guide. It's not just that one main guide. There's a lot of them in the background. And you can use them and work with them to pull in business, find your soul tribe, find your family. You can use them to enhance your natural gifts and talents. And then you can work with them to heal your body fully.
Okay. And you said that they heal at the cellular level. What are they doing at the cellular level?
What are they not doing is fine. I'm going to turn that around and say, what are they not doing at the cellular level? They can literally remove impurities for your blood. Let's take it this way. If you have someone that is got a lot of heavy metals in their body, you can detox the body of heavy metals by working with the dragons. But you can also reverse damage that has been done to the body through medications, previous illnesses, previous addictions as well. So it depends on what scenario and what treatment plan is best for the person in that moment, because every person has their own unique patterns, has their own unique needs. So it's not the same for everyone. I deal with clients that have gone through chemotherapy and we're detoxing the negative effects of the chemo from their system at the time. So they are able to receive the benefits, but not have so much of the heaviness, the loss of appetite, the constant nausea, things like that going through the system as well. And we have had people that have had blood tests taken 1 week, found that their cholesterol was super high, their glucose level was super high. We've done a session, they've gone back in 2 weeks' time, and the levels have returned to normal. So it's very potent, but you've got to know which dragons you're working with, what you're looking for, and what is going to be like the best course of action. I always let the dragons talk and I just follow where they lead. It's my approach.
And do they ever give advice to a client? Let's say they're doing like a metal detox. Do they ever have, oh, and then when the session is over, you should do this, drink plenty of water, or,
Yes.
but more
Oh,
involved than
always,
that? Like every
always.
day, yeah, like a protocol. They
Yes.
have like
No,
a
they go more
protocol to
involved. They
follow.
tell, yeah, it's not so much like a protocol to follow up because, like I said, it's unique to every person. So while they will get the general advice after a healing session, if your body needs rest, go away and rest. Drink plenty of water.
Yeah.
Take time. You might feel delicate for 48 hours, but usually at the end of the session, I've done timeline collapses, echo removals, and grounding. So those effects are quite low to begin with at the end of the session. I usually have clients that say I went on a major munchie rampage or I went for a power nap for an hour. It's one of the two. It's completely one of the two.
Yeah.
But no, the dragons often like to give you that next step forward, that actual physical, tangible
Mm.
action step you can take. Whether it
Yeah.
is
Okay.
like cut this food group out for a limited period of
Mm-hmm.
time to see what that does for your
Okay.
system. And then it's when it comes to business is, okay, keep an eye out for opportunities relating to working with a certain person. See who you are attracted to over the next few days. They will literally give you step-by-step plays. They will tell you, because I use them to help people with their businesses as well, they will tell you the topics to focus on to promote your business. They will tell you how to find the natural way it is for pushing yourself out there and getting creative and showing up in a way that makes you comfortable, but puts your information at the forefront.
Oh, that's nice. I think you told me about, don't you have a monthly membership group to work with dragons?
Yes, I do. Over on Facebook, I have a monthly membership group that I only allow 20 people in at a time because I like to keep it personal. There's a whole stock of past masterclasses, past group healings in there. So it's literally a playground. If you love dragons and you want to learn about dragons, you have the bare bones plus more in there. And we also hold a monthly card pull and a monthly fresh masterclass healing. There's usually a chance to vote for it and pick what topic that you want. And then we have a huge record of resources of audio healings, meditations that have been specifically designed for certain situations for people.
Okay, that's nice.
Yeah. So that's
Awesome.
over on Facebook.
Okay. And what's the name of the group?
The name of the group is the Dragons Library and Their Allies.
Oh, okay.
Mhm.
Dragons Library and their allies.
Yes, that's
Okay. Do the dragons work with children at all?
They can. They actually really can, because I taught my daughter when she was having nightmares as a child, about 3 and 4, that we had rose pink dragons sitting at the end of her bed to calm her down if she was waking from constant nightmares. Dark blue dragons for this deep protection, to really anchor in the fact that they are safe. Nothing is coming into their room and nothing is coming into that space that is theirs. So dragons love to work with children. It is choosing the right age to introduce them to, because every child is different. So some children are much more likely to be attracted to unicorn energy as typical, and others are going to be more attracted to dragon energy. Just depends the child's preference. But my daughter, when she eventually moved to her own room, she immediately ran back into where her old cot used to be and moved all the dragons down the hall. And she said, okay, you're going to this side of the room, you're going to this side of the room. And this is just designating their spaces where they will be, and they were welcomed in that space to keep her calm and nurtured. There's only one time I would ever say to be cautious of working with dragon energy, and that is if you are pregnant. If you are in your first 3 months of pregnancy, that is the time I would say to only work with the elemental dragons, because the rest of them are going down when they are healing you, they are going down to the DNA cellular level. That is putting an extra pressure on your body as you are creating another being within you on that DNA
I
level.
see.
So you increase likelihoods of complications if you work with that energy. But if you're working with fire, water, you can feed your body, you can nourish your body, you can nourish your mindset by working with those dragons, keeping your energy field clean, in harmony, and balanced. But I would not go deeper with any other dragons until much late in your third trimester. Then go and have a look at them, but not before.
Okay. And so you have the elemental dragons, and what are the dragons called that are doing the healing at the cellular level? If they're not classified as elementals, then what are they?
That's when you fall into this category of multidimensional and dragons of different timelines. So for me, when I'm
Okay.
doing deep cellular healing, they just fall under the category of dragons of the universe, because there is so many coming in to look at that one specific
Got
issue.
it. I see. Okay. And do dragons originate from source energy?
Yes, yes. All dragons will
Yeah.
originate from source energy. They are all beings of light. They're all healers, they're all creators and co-creators, because they're working with us, not
And
against us.
yeah. Okay. And do you think there are any negative dragons? Because you see that a lot with the whole species of Draco or whatever.
Yes.
Is there any
I have
truth to
never,
that, or?
for me, in my experience, I have never come into contact with negative dragons, but I have met people and beings. And it's just the same with anything else we do in life. We will have positive influences and negative influences. If someone is already working with dragons and their intention is a negative intention, if those dragons continue to work with someone long enough, they would get affected and bogged down by that negative energy and intention. It's just like brainwashing is probably the best way I can put this. It is like following a lead and not questioning why. Most dragons you meet will question everything. But if you are working with dragons that have constantly been told this is the only way forward, this is the way we do things, you must hate people, you must hate this. If you feed someone hate, that's all they're going to know. But does that mean that these dragons or dragon beings couldn't be redeemed? In 90% of cases, they could be. It's whether they want to make the change. It's just like whether a human who's had an addiction to drugs, alcohol, anything like that for their lives chooses to make the change or chooses to stay on that destructive path. But do I personally believe there are negative intentions towards us from the dragons? No, absolutely not.
Yeah, I agree with that. Yeah. So you've been working with the dragons for a long time, and you've worked with them to create your own healing modality. And you also do your monthly group, but you also have some meditations that you have available to people that
Yeah.
are for specific things. Is there one in particular that you find that's really helpful?
There's multiple ones I find really helpful. I think it depends. But for me, when the fact we're speaking about mental health, and this is an issue that will affect a lot of people, I think healing the self-worth wound with the dragons was a very powerful call I did last year. And it helped a lot of people have their major aha moment of why they have always had this moment of self-doubt within themselves and within their bodies, and how it really does affect multiple layers of their personality, of their day-to-day habits and lives. So for me, healing the self-worth wound was the dragons meditation. That was a live call. It was a big healing call. It's one of the ones that stands out in my mind without a shadow of a doubt on how potent it can be. Or you have other things that can help with money energy and money vibrations, love relationships, and much, much more. That to me is always a great starting point.
Okay. And where can people go to find this
So
meditation?
my little store is called the intuitivelistener.site is the address, and you can find it there. We have the Intuitive Listener store. There'll be more products. We're just getting started over there. We have about 8 to 10 products up already, with all guided meditations, all live healings, but we will be adding other dragon services there as well.
And these meditations and other healings that you have up there, could that be a good way to start working with the dragons or
Absolutely.
be introduced to dragon energy?
Absolutely. It's a
Yeah.
great way to see if this energy resonates with you, as I always put it. This energy is accepting. It doesn't scare you, it doesn't make you nervous. You are in a very relaxed
Right.
setting. And with a meditation or listening to a recording, you always have that ability to say, no, this isn't for me, and just pull yourself out. You just have that natural ability.
Right.
But
Yeah.
in this case, yes, this is a great, easy, gentle way to see if this works for you. And if you want to explore something further and you want something that's more personalized, then you can always approach myself or join the membership, and we can find something that will feel softer to you. There's certain recordings on there that are much softer in energy, like this healing the self-worth wound, to things that go in very deep as well. I would say unlocking the layers of love is a very deep one because it addresses a lot of family karma. It addresses a lot of negative relationship karma and clearing those cycles and breaking those cycles. So it goes exceptionally deep. And the same with the self-worth, but in a much more gentle manner. It builds up as the recording goes on. It doesn't start off hot and intense.
Okay. And so someone could have a discovery call with you, correct? If you
Yes.
wanted to discuss further which meditation would be good for them, or are they ready to start in the membership group or something like that, or even just getting a healing
Even just
session?
getting a healing, a reading, a meeting your dragon session, because I do 8-week dragon mentoring programs as well. There's lots of different ways. If you want to look at something that is really completely for beginners. I always recommend my First Flight of the Dragons package for that, because it is a really simple dragon reading session, which allows you to get a taste of the dragon community's one voice. It doesn't introduce you to your dragon team at that stage. It just passes you on very simple messages that are current to where your energy is at that moment. And that usually gives you quite a good indication of, does this feel right for me if I continue on this journey? And then it gives you like a 30-minute healing session with the dragons of the universe and myself. Again, just to one issue that is constantly dogging you, because you want to feel it in that moment. You can do the bigger issues at another time, but you want to have, for that first 30-minute session, something that you're going to see take effect within a couple of days, very quick, or even within an hour.
Yeah, it will be a nice little taste for them.
Yes,
Yeah.
exactly. So you get the experience of everything, and then it just either pipes the curiosity further, that you're meant to walk this path a little bit further, to learn more, to see if it's really the right fit, or it gives you that confirmation of, no, this isn't for me.
Yeah. And I know a couple of weeks ago when we spoke, you had done a small session on me and a healing session. And I don't always feel like Reiki or energy healing distantly. And I don't think that means that it isn't working. I just don't always feel it. But I know that when we did that session, I really felt the dragon energy and the dragon healing. I absolutely love the dragons, but I did feel the energy, and it was, I'm going to say the energy was strong, but it wasn't strong in an overpowering way. It was strong and
No, yeah.
gentle. I don't even know. Yeah, but
It's like
it was a beautiful
like a
energy.
nurturing. It's like a
Yeah,
nurturing strength of
exactly.
energy.
Yeah. It was like I was getting a hug, actually. It was
Yes,
like a nice long hug that, that let you feel like you could just like
yeah,
into it and breathe into it and just, okay, I'm supported in this space, and
yeah.
everything's going to be okay.
Yeah, and that's
Yeah.
literally how the dragon's MO, as I say, that's how they think. Okay, we need to calm you down. We need to get your body relaxed, because if you're not in perfect alignment, you're not in perfect health with yourself. And if you're not in perfect health, or at least not in a place that you are comfortable to do your everyday tasks, to do what is important to you and give you good quality of life, then they just look at it as if, well, we want to help you, but you've got to help yourself a little bit too. You've got to allow us to come in and work with you. And in order for that to happen, you've got to relax. So they're not going to come rushing in like a bull in a china shop, terrifying you out of your wits, when their main mission is to make you as comfortable as possible, to help you go the distance, to help you achieve those goals, those manifestations, depending on what the scenario and the situation is that you are working toward.
Yeah. Yeah. Great. Thank you so much for being here. Yeah, I just really enjoyed our time together and learning more about the dragons. I think our listeners will enjoy this episode too. So thank you for being here, Victoria. I really appreciate it.
Thank you so much for having me here. It's been an absolute pleasure to be speaking with yourself tonight and speak about the dragons in a different way than what maybe people have heard about them before.
Yeah, for sure. All right. Well, you take care.
You as well. Thank you so much.
All right. Yep. Bye.
Thank you for joining me in today's episode. Be sure to check the show notes for guest links and other helpful information. I'm your host, Olivia Page, and you can find me on all the social media platforms at Ascension Healing Sounds.